So I haven't asked this to the organization. I left a couple of stickers over there, and there will be prizes for the people that will ask specific questions at the end. You can interrupt me in the end, so no worries. I'm gonna talk about using European open source to build a sovereign multi-cloud. This is kind of a grandiloquent message, but it's less bureaucratic than you can imagine. Let me introduce myself. I'm Francisco Piccolini. I'm open source community manager in Open Nebula Systems. Open Nebula, it's a Spanish company. We are located in Madrid. We are headquarters in Pozuelo, Madrid. Also offices in Brno and Boston. And if I remember well, in Brussels as well. I came from Brussels a couple of days ago. So basically, what I'm going to talk about, it's about the cloud edge ecosystem that we have now in Europe, okay? Based on a little bit of history about cloud, we started on a centralized model. Then we moved to a more distributed model with the data client server model. Then we returned to a centralized cloud system, which was centralized cloud. And we are now in what it calls distributed cloud, where cloud is everywhere. We know that it's not everywhere, it's only other people's computer, but it's basically everywhere, okay? And this is something that we are analyzing how the situation of the market as it is right now, okay? Right now, the companies in general, all the enterprises are very dependent on the cloud. Like it says here on the slides, 45% of the enterprises use cloud computing, and 75 of them are highly dependent on. Okay, the thing is that on this, you have to think that the majority of the dependence on this cloud are on small services, mainly email, docs storage, and all that, not something that you will use the cloud for specific or advanced processing of data. Here's the situation specifically with the European cloud market. Over the last couple of years, I would say over the last 10 years, the situation with the market share of companies that develops cloud in Europe is decreasing. The majority is monopolized by hyperscalers from US, obviously. There are some actors in China that are also investing or kind of using this market. And the situation, you can see in the first graph, the cloud market share in Europe, it's decreasing, while the need and the use, it's increasing. Also, in terms of system infrastructure, there are not top competitors from the EU. And in terms of what it's the contribution to the open source in general, the part that European actors have are very small, for not saying close to non-existent. Okay, I'm not going to say be too aggressive on that, but yeah, that's a little bit of the situation. What's going on? Well, we need to invest in a new industrial strategy. There's a gap identified by several analysts that says that the gap between what an European company invests and what the European market and what the US market and China market can invest, it's 11,000 millions of euros. There are no space for European companies to participate, to get into the game, having the biggest hyperscalers, like, I'm not going to say names, well, I'm going to say names, Amazon and Google. There's no space for small companies. If I ask you about what companies do you know about cloud providers, Some of you will probably say OVH, but there are more than OVH. It's not only OVH, it's not only them in the market, okay? Even though that they are doing a great job. It's like, this reminds me when Mozilla tried to invest in the mobile operating system, that we have Android and iOS, and then suddenly Mozilla decided, we are going to make this new open source system, and it was super complicated to put a fit on that market. Imagine now when the gap it's so huge that it's not so simple to create or start with a new company trying to make it in a fit in the cloud market in general, not only in Europe in this, okay? Yeah, this is a little bit more of what I was saying before. The situation right now is that we lost, for saying away, I'm talking from the European perspective, and apologies if I'm saying this in the after Brexit, but it's what it is. The situation is that Europe lost the battle for the cloud, okay? That's the reality. There's no other way to say it lightly. So we need to think on where we can put something from the European side, okay? So there are some companies which we are involved in that saw that the opportunities on the cloud edge. There's many opportunities on the cloud edge market, and even though that the infrastructure it's more complicated perhaps than the cloud in general, it's probably the only opportunity that we have from the European side to have a say, okay? This is something, I'm not saying only this is something that the European Commission is saying as well. Put aside political thoughts and trends. All the Commission, all the parties are finally agree on something, which is that we need to invest in the cloud market in a way that needs to be disruptive, okay, for the cloud in general. It's not only in terms of economics. Let me say this. It's not because we as companies are waiting for having some money or some funds for the European Union. This is also involves things in terms of national security. Data sovereignty. It's not only I want to get more money or I want to invest and gain and make a profit. This is beyond that. This is a question of, let's say, in an American way, national security. So how OpenNebula, the company that I work for, steps into this? We are an open source company, like I said before, OpenNebula Systems. We started in 2005. In 2008, we launched the first version of the OpenNebula platform. We are a cloud virtualization platform, okay? So all this small timeline, well, yeah, very brief timeline, to explain a little bit where we came from. We came from a university project that evolves into a company that is developing a platform purely open source for the cloud, okay, for cloud virtualization. We are trying to avoid the vendor lock-in, offering a neutral platform to manage and virtualize your cloud infrastructure. And, well, we cover several things, multi-tenancy, we are self-service, high availability, very flexible, customizable, a lot of things. I'm going to say that we can run and deploy on any infrastructure, handling and managing workloads, facilitating operations on any application, especially thinking on multi-VM services and containers, okay? So it's a platform that tries to offer a solution, and it's independent on which cloud service provider are you using. So we are not saying that you cannot use Amazon or Azure. You can use whatever the platform, whatever the cloud service you want to use, but we are focused on specifically the open source and European open source. So we participate in several projects, not only, well, some of them are funded by the European Union, okay? Then we have our commercial side, but we participate in several open source projects. And one of them, it's IPSAI-SIS, IPSAI Cloud, okay? This is a project that the European Union is launched last December. Sorry, not last December. I'm still living in 2024. In December 2023, launched officially. It's intended to be from 2023 till 2028. Ideally, the amount of investment will be 50% of public funds, but also 50% of private investment, okay? So we will have, in total, in the first phase of the project, around 3 billion, almost 3 billion of euros of investment between public and private investment. There are many companies involved in this project, from the, let's say, the fundamentals. It's three countries, and one of those countries is Spain. So that's why I'm also here presenting this, and it has been approved by all the state members. Okay, so the idea behind this, it's to, like it says in the slide, to enable a multi-provider cloud edge continuum. The cloud edge continuum is, for saying very basically and briefly, cover every single step of the cloud edge ecosystem, okay? So the user in the end doesn't feel any gap between how he or she connects to the network and how it gets those services, okay? Like I say, this is on public cloud, but can be used also on private cloud. It's what we call hybrid cloud as well. So it's, yeah, the concept of multi-cloud that I was commenting before. And at this point of the project, we are part of the chair. The vice chair is SAP. And there are several work streams involved. Let's say, all the companies are in kind of a commitment of develop open source. Not all the companies will be developing open source, specifically for private solutions and stuff that they will be commercializing. But the part that is funded by the European Union it will be open source, okay? So that's another thing that I would like to remark as a highlight, because I think it's super important that it's not only European Union investing in technology, but also investing in open source technology, which I think it's the most interesting part of all this. Like I say, the Cloud Edge Continuum, how these work streams will be divided on every single path of the user to access the cloud, okay? So there will be a use case where the user will be in using services of the smart city, or fire detection, or energy, or many things, okay? So these try to cover all the arch of services and products using cloud. The idea is to develop this framework in a way that any company can participate. And even though that I'm saying that it's European and it's for open source and all that, it's not restricted to that because it's open source. So if someone from Asia or US wants to participate and work on this framework, it's welcome to do it, okay? It can access to this framework, okay? And obviously there are some priorities, there are some challenges. The challenges that we have now, and I can mention or highlight very quickly, it's the specific use of AI. We are working on having also some sort of a framework that helps on managing and processing data for AI, okay? So that's one of the things. Also the situation with the vendor lock-in that we want to avoid. And there are challenges, specifically how we can create the whole infrastructure for this Cloud Edge Continuum. It's not going to be simple. There's a lot of antennas that needs to be installed. There's a lot of software that needs to be developed that hasn't been developed yet. So it's a big challenge, and that's why when we say, okay, it's not going to be like in other projects like 100 million euros, 300 million, something like that. The idea is to spend more than, like I say at the beginning, 3 billion, almost 3 billion euros, but eventually if the plan goes in the way that the European Commission is expected, they estimate that might be more than 5 billion euros of investments, okay? 5 for the people that are not used to billions like me, 5,000 million euros, okay? So that's the situation with this. Like I say, we are involved in this project, and we are developing this framework through the project One Next Gen, where we create all the platform for the data center to be connected with the public edge, on edge prem, public cloud, and even with 5G network, okay? So this is kind of a global view of what we have in this project. This is a little bit more of how it's going to be, and I'm thinking that, yeah, probably I need to finish. This is a little bit of how the work streams will be integrated through this framework. The Cloud Edge capabilities, like it's indicated there in the graphic, it's where we are going to be working on the One Next Gen project. And this is a little bit of the ecosystem that it's actually and currently with the companies that we are participating, like Ionos, like Phoenix, like Arsys, like Telefonica, which Arsys and Telefonica are from Spain, but Phoenix is from Netherlands, SAP from Germany, T-System, Ericsson. There are many, many companies involved in this project, not only Spanish companies, okay? So, like I say, this is a situation where any company can participate. We are also promoting a partnership program where we can involve the different companies in this project. So if you have any questions on that, yeah, we can talk later, or we can comment a little bit now. And, oops, sorry. And just as a last slide, because I'm aware of to leave a little bit of time for questions, this is, like I say, this is part of the IPSAI project and the One Next 5G. And yeah, that's it. That's it from my side. I think that I covered everything. Probably I forgot something because I haven't read the notes, but yeah, I'm open for questions now. And you can grab stickers if you want. Yeah, go ahead.
One sec.
Oh yeah, this will help because I'm also full of a cold. The IPCEI project that you talked about, for the implementations that you're building, who are the intended users? I wasn't entirely clear on who. Is the intention to compete with hyperscalers, or is it a separate subset of users?
It's intended for final users. Sorry, I don't get the question.
As in, like a self-service public cloud?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The idea in the end is that it's developing in a corporate, from a corporate point of view, but in the end it's like, let's say that you are T-Mobile user, and the access to the edge for T-Mobile in, let's say, in 2027 will be through this platform, ideally.
So as somebody that works for a company that is building a public AI-focused cloud implementation, but which doesn't use OpenNebula, is there still an opportunity for us to participate as someone that could provide infrastructure?
Yeah, totally. You don't need to use OpenNebula to participate here. I mean, what we are building, it's a framework of integration. So meaning that if you want to use us, it's the better because we are part of that project, so it's going to be simpler. If you want to use another platform, cloud virtualization platform, you can do it. Actually, SAP at this point is trying for these type of cases, work on a cloud platform for those clients that they have, and not make it feel like it's forced from the European Union to use only OpenNebula. The problem is that, nice problem that we have. The problem is that since this is an European project and it only participates European companies to develop this framework, you need to use a cloud virtualization platform, European. There's no other.
Does OpenStack not qualify?
Next question.
Because there are very large
OpenStack,
European users of OpenStack.
Doesn't qualify. It's open source, but it's not European.
As in the Open Infra Foundation isn't European?
Yes, and the Linux Foundation has a chapter in Europe as well. And
okay, fair enough.
we can talk about
I'll
politics
park that
later
one
if you
there.
want.
Yeah, let's do that.
We have time for one more, if someone wants to. Yeah, gentleman over there.
So I still don't fully understand what's the deliverable of this project, so if it's software or if it's a commercial offering. But I was more worried about the market strategy. Mm-hmm. So I mean, the objective of this, as you showed at the beginning, I guess, is to reverse the trend in which the European providers have been declining share of the cloud market. Mm-hmm. So then at a certain point in time, someone must be selling cloud infrastructure, services and products to people that currently buy AWS or Google Cloud or whatever and should move to a European provider. So is there a strategy for this change to happen?
Let me say this. The situation is that this is a market situation created for not having the European Union put a stop. I'm not saying that we need to stop with tariffs, okay? No, not going in that direction. But the problem is that there are no European participants on that in that market, and it's getting it's shrinking and shrinking every year. So the European Union basically is trying to change the tendency at some point, because, like I said before, it's a little bit of not only a market and an economic thing, it's also a question of national security, a question of where the, let's say, for saying something, where the French defense data is stored. Yes, could be stored in a data store or data center in Paris, but to which company it belongs. If it belongs to Amazon, that information can go freely. Well, I'm not going to say freely, sorry. I'm going to be, it might go to US and can be accessed from US. I'm being a little bit paranoid on that, yes, but that's a situation that it could happen. Huawei right now, and I don't want to gain enemies on this, but Huawei right now it's trying to make a lot of lobby in the European Commission to get contracts from the European Commission. What are the intentions behind Huawei? I'm not the one that has to say that. You can imagine. You know, it's a complicated. It's not so simple. There's not only market interest behind, it's also a political, let's say a political statement. Okay, I have to cut. Yeah, we can. Thank you everyone again.